Are Minecraft's Trial Chambers mid, or actually kinda good? I tried beating these in different levels of armor, starting with none. It was pretty difficult. What about full unenchanted iron? Easier. And unenchanted diamond? Pretty straightforward. Now what about fully maxed netherite with some other useful items? It was a breeze. Sorry, that was a crime against humanity. Speaking of the breeze though, it's one of two brand new mobs you will encounter here. The breeze is a bizarre pseudo-blaze-like creature that drops breeze rods as opposed to blaze rods. It has 30 health, moves incredibly quickly, and deflects any projectiles fired at it. Surprisingly, it does 0 damage with its breeze charge attacks, but instead relies on the resulting fall damage. The other unique mob is the Bogged. This is another variant of skeleton, much like the Stray, but unlike that frostbitten mob, this one is meant to look like it was a trespasser on Shrek's swamp. Instead of shooting slowness arrows, it shoots poison, and is highly dangerous because of it. Uniquely, however, they shoot arrows far less often than regular skeletons. Now, the way you'll encounter these mobs is by activation of trial spawners. These peculiar loot boxes work a bit like a normal spawner, but they only spawn a certain amount of mobs, depending on how many players are nearby. The specific type of enemy it spawns is discoverable by which type of block is placed around the spawner. Ice for strays, podzol, mushrooms, and bone blocks for bogs, and tough for breezes. 8 other more familiar mobs, including baby zombies, oh no, also have their own respective signifying material. Once you slay enough of a trial spawner's mobs, it will deactivate. Now it becomes a loot box that dispenses items every 1.5 seconds until it is empty. There is a high chance you'll get a trial key from this, which you can put to use in unlocking vaults. Now vaults are just another loot box, but they don't spawn mobs first and have way better contents. Both trial spawners and vaults have unique multiplayer considerate designs. They both become permanently locked after activation, but will reopen again when a new player uses them. A vault, for example, allows each player to open it once with a trial key. The loot contains enchanted books, enchanted diamond chestplates and axes, and lots of notch apples, which is pretty good. Maybe a little too good. Overall, the combat side of Trial Chambers is a definitive W. By the way, could you please subscribe and get me to 1,000 subs? Oh, and leave a like. I'm going to be honest with you. Bright orange and green are not my favorite contrasting colors. We do, however, have some redemption with the deep slate bricks, but overall the effect is a little too stunning. But as far as new blocks go, the copper doors, trapdoors, and grates are a much needed use for copper, and all around are fantastic in my opinion. Copper bulbs, despite their failure to provide 1 game tick redstone activation signals, still add a very interesting aesthetic due to their varying degrees of brightness from oxidization. Some other interesting aesthetic choices here include trees, pots, barrels, dispensers, and believe it or not, powdered snow. Now, how do the trial chambers stylistically compare to some of Minecraft's older structures? Let's take strongholds as an example. They're full of mysterious prison cells, decaying stone bricks, and giant libraries, not to mention the end portal room. Strongholds have no aggressive block contrasts like the trial chambers, and nothing as jarring as snow or trees. Because of their purple and tan colors, end cities are one of the only structures that's similar to these in terms of color. The trial chambers, especially for something found in the grimy depths, seems very odd to have such a strange block palette. Overall, I would consider the look of the trial chambers a bit of an L, not gonna lie. There are 2 very unique items you can find here. First up is the breeze rod, which looks a lot like a purple blaze rod. Second is the heavy core, which possesses a 1 in 48 chance to be found in trial chamber loot. If you craft together one of each of these, you can create the new mace item. This thing is very interesting. It functions by delivering various amounts of damage depending on how far you fall. It's quite powerful and does more than 20 damage on a hit from only a 1.5 block fall. Incredibly, falling 100 blocks and hitting a warden will destroy even that most unbelievably tough mob in just 1 hit. Conveniently, all fall damage to the player is also negated if a hit is landed before hitting the ground. Other exclusive items are Guster and Flow banner patterns and the Bolt and Flow armor trim smithing templates. Oh, and back to Breeze Rods, you can actually turn them into wind charges, the fascinating new item that does the same thing that a breeze does to you. These items can knock back mobs and even the player who's throwing them. They will activate buttons and levers, open doors, break pots and chorus fruit, and ring bells and extinguish candles. Undeniably a cool feature, and I'm sure it will have a ton of uses within vanilla Minecraft and the mini-games designed within it. Speaking of mini-games, is the overall Trial Chamber experience just one of those? A mini-game? And is it a good thing to have a mini-game within Minecraft when you could just go play Hypixel for bigger and better mini-games? I rather think it is a good thing. The Trial Chambers are a fun idea, and secluded to their own structures, they really don't do anything bad to your surrounding Minecraft world. In fact, I'd say that the Trial Chambers would be a fantastically fun thing to do with your friends, seeing as there will always be enough loot for everyone because their design prevents your friends from stealing it all. I still can't say that I like the oxidized and not copper combination, but it is what it is. And that is why this structure is kept underground, wrapped up in a deep slate brick shell so you won't have to look at it. Also, breezes in my books are definitely cool, and I think it's great that they gave us a mob that actually resembles some of the older styles in the game, like a blaze for example. Also, the wind effect around it actually looks a lot like a Wither's half-health shields. I'm also a really big fan of bots, seeing as I was a big fan of strays and husks when they were first released. Can we also realize just how great it is to finally have another melee weapon? The mace is fantastic, and I look forward to using it in survival. If you made it this far, thanks so much. Please subscribe and get me to 1K subs. Thanks.